Now let's simplify these expressions. Now notice that technically this is what it is. 15 plus 3 in parentheses is divided by 15 minus 3 in parentheses. This division line kind of plays the role of these parentheses. Everything in the numerator is in parentheses even though you don't see it. Everything in the denominator is in parentheses even though you don't see it. And this is especially important when the numerator is a sum of two numbers. So how do we work with this? Parentheses first. We do not cancel anything. If it were 15 times 3 divided by 15 times negative 3, then you could cancel the 3 and the 3. The 3 goes negative 1 times into 3 and your answer would have been a negative 1. But since it is addition and subtraction and the numerator is technically in parentheses, you have to go 18 divided by 12. And now this 18 divided by 12 is not in the lowest terms. 18 is 6 times 3 and 12 is 4 times 3. The 3's cancel, which means 3 over 3 equals a 1. But then we have 6 and 4, both are even numbers, so it can be broken down further. And the 2's cancel. 2 over 2 is a 1. And we finally get 3 halves. Now same thing here. Notice that we cannot cancel anything because we still need to do parentheses first. So we have 15 plus 3 is 18 divided by 15 minus 15 is 0. Now notice that 0 in the denominator tells you that the number is undefined. So this means nothing. That's what undefined means. We cannot have a 0 in the denominator. Of the 88 constellations that can be seen in the sky, 12 are associated with astrological horoscopes. The names of as many as 36 constellations are associated with animals or mythical creatures. The total number of constellations is 88. Of the 88, what fraction, so we need to write it as a fraction, is associated with horoscopes? So there are 12 that are associated with horoscopes. So we know that from the question. What fraction of the 88, which means out of the 88, 12 are related to astrological horoscopes. Now we need to reduce this number to the lowest terms. 4 times 3 is 12. 8 times 11 is 88. Can go 4 times 3 divided by 4 times 2 is 8, because I noticed that 4 is a factor in the numerator and there is a factor of 4 hiding inside the 8. So I factored the 8 and wrote it as 4 times 2. Now we cancel common factors, which means 4 over 4 becomes a 1. So 1 times 3 is 3. Nothing else cancels. So we write down the final answer, which is 3 over 22. Of the 88 constellations, what fraction is associated with mythical creatures? So let's see. Out of the 88, so the total of 88 sits at the bottom. Mythical creatures, the question says there are 36 constellations that are associated with animals or mythical creatures. let's say animals or so now let's see how this is done. 8 times 4, 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 22 is 88, because if we divide 88 by 4, 4 times 2 is 8, subtract, bring the 8 down, 4 times 2 is 8, subtract, and you get a 0. So the 4's cancel and you get a 9 out of 22. Now in this section, let's quickly review what we did. So the main skill that we learned in this section is reducing fractions to the lowest terms. So if you have a fraction, just make sure that it's in the lowest terms. Break it down first into its prime factors or factors and cancel as many common factors as possible. So for example, here, 39 over 130, it was hard to tell if there was anything we could cancel. So what we did was we broke down the numbers first. So we wrote 39 as 3 times 13 and 13 is 13 times 10, and then we spotted the hidden factor 13 that was common to both the numerator and the denominator that cancelled off, and we got 3 over 10. So sometimes we may not be able to see the common factors right away, so we need to break down the factors first and then see what happens. It's possible that we could find a common factor that cancels. Now let's look at a quick example. Let's say we have 76 over 114. Now we know that 2 is a common factor, but maybe there's more than just 2 as a common factor. So let's see what goes into 76. 76 is an even number. So 2 has to divide 76. And we get a 0. So I could write this as 38 times 2. 76 is 38 times 2. Now 114, 2 does go into 114. Now suppose I add the digits. I get a 6. 3 divides 6 because 3 times 2 is 6. So I know that 3 divides this entire number. So let's divide 114 by 3. So 3 3s are 9. Subtract to get a 2. Bring the 4 down. 3 8s are 24. And that's equal to 0. So we could say 3 times 38 is equal to 114. So this is something we wouldn't have imagined unless we broke down the numbers, that we'd find a common factor so quickly, and we've reduced it in one step.